Hey everybody, my name is McGill and I am the co-founder and CEO of Rize. Today I wanted to talk to you about how you can use Rize to automatically track your client work. Rize is, for those of you who are just seeing this video for the first time, Rize is a fully automated AI-powered time tracker that basically kills manual time tracking and manual timesheets. We built it just to make your lives easier, reduce the admin work. If you have to track time for work, I'm sure you're familiar with the downsides of manual time tracking. We have to start and stop timers, or you just forget and try and guess what you did, and none of the time is accurate, and it's a whole bunch of admin work. So Rize gets rid of all of that. And so in this video, I'm just gonna really quickly go through how Rize works and talk about how to set up client auto tracking. Okay, so really quick on how Rize works. If we go to the activity event log, now Rize is an automatic time tracker. It's a macOS and a Windows app. So you just sign up, download the app, and Rize will immediately start tracking in the background. We are a privacy first solution, so we never track the content of the window, we never take screenshots. No high risk data is ever at risk, nothing like passwords or bank information ever. All we track is the metadata of the active window. So that is like app name, window title, and URL. You can see that here. Now from there, if you go to the calendar view, you get a pretty good visual representation of what happens. So in this left column here, this is your raw activity data, like your apps and websites. What we do is we feed that into our algorithm, which does essentially three things. First, it's gonna break that data, like break that big time chunk into smaller chunks that it identifies as similar chunks of work. Then for each of those chunks, those are called time entry suggestions. For each of those, it's going to use AI to annotate them. So it's going to add a title and a description. And then it's going to either automatically tag that time with clients, projects, or tasks, depending on how you've configured Rize. Or if it's AI is not as confident, it will add a little suggestion to either create a new task or to tag it with an existing client, for example. You can always generate more suggestions here as well. Now, these are just suggestions at this point. So you can see this is what a client recommendation looks like, right? And they have the explanation there. Now, at this point, these are just suggestions. So you can merge them, you can split them, you can regenerate them. We have a lot of even advanced options. So you can if you wanted to split, you can do a manual split and you can actually, drag and drop here and actually see the activity as it changes when you were splitting to kind of find out if you wanted to do it, or you can just do an AI split and tell it how it's done. Now, once these look good, all I have to do is hit accept, and they'll be shared in my, they're approved, they're shared at the workspace level. This is really an ideal privacy first setup. And this step of review is really like what we call the human in the loop step that you'll see with a lot of AI products. We've also built this really cool time review inbox. So it's meant to feel almost like an email inbox that you can fly through. On the left, you're gonna see all of your pending time entries that you can regenerate, split, whatever you like. And then on the right, you have your context window to help remind you what you were working on. So it has top apps, top titles, and then this event log that you can also search through to help you remember what you were working on. So I guess the main thing you really want to get right is these time entries and time entry suggestions. How do you tweak those? Because that's like one of the core features. So first, especially when tagging client time. So first you have a few settings here. One is exact keyword matching. I'm gonna come to this in a little bit. This can be really helpful when tagging time for clients automatically. We also have different language options for time entries, which are pretty cool. So that will generate those time entry summaries in whichever language you like. And then you can choose an ideal time for these, for like the length of the tasks. This will just be used as sort of a guiding input. Okay, so how do we get clients set up now? Well, if you head over to the Clients tab, there's a few ways you can set up clients. You can import them from a task tracker like ClickUp, Asana, You can add them one at a time manually, or you can import them from CSV. I'm gonna go through the CSV flow right now. So when you import them from CSV, you can download a template and then fill it out. And basically you can just enter the name, keywords, billing type, and any sort of billing information. Now I will get into how to set up automatic client profitability tracking in another video. I'm just really gonna be talking about how to auto tag those clients. So a key field here is input, is the keywords. So with each client, you can add keywords. Now keywords can be essentially anything. They can be a name, an abbreviation, a URL. And when you add them to the bulk upload, they should be separated by a semicolon. These are hints to our AI that when it finds these keywords, you're working on this client, right? So you can see Acme, acme.com, all that cool stuff. Now, once you set that up and you import the clients, I'll show you what those keywords look like. Those keywords will look like this, right? And if you click this expand option, you can get a really detailed view of the keywords. You can see if they're shared or not, etc. Now, there's two settings. Now you're set up. So now Rize is tracking, it's looking for those keywords, and it's creating time entries for you. Now, how can you get these time entries more accurate? Well, this setting is key. This is gonna be a big differentiator in how Rize creates your timeline. Right now, when this is disabled, Rize is just going to take these keywords into account, but it won't create time entries in a strict way. Whereas if you enable this, then Rize is going to find, anytime Rize finds a keyword for a client, it will create a time entry for that client and tag it to that client. So you'll get, generally you get more time entries, but they're already tagged with clients and they can be a little smaller. So these are two different approaches. It really depends on your workflow and number of clients. A lot of accountants who work with hundreds of clients and want to track really granular, even to the minute time spent, they're going to enable this keyword matching. Some agencies as well. It really is up to you what gets better output. I would personally recommend running Rize for like a day with this disabled, and then running Rize a day enabled, and then just seeing how it works. Or another option here too, to check what's better, is if you click on the time entries column, you can clear suggestions. Now, if I go back here and enable this, close this, and then click on the time entries to recreate them, it's gonna recreate it with the new settings. You can see it's already different. It's found some keywords there. And then again, I can actually really easily compare which one I prefer. So yeah, this super high level overview of how to automatically track clients for time tracking with Rize. Let me know if you have any questions, and thanks so much for using Rize.